I have to show all of you guys why WoW players are in constant state of despair, and it's literally their own fault. So you can see it's Zaryu stream. I think he's gonna read a comment. So
MMOs are better when they
Yeah.
cater to the top 1% over the bottom 75. Aspirations and goals are better than everyone getting everything. That's a crazy claim to make. I actually kind of agree. Although it's tough, like the world is different.
bro, it's not only a tough claim. It's like it's the most degenerate stuff I've ever heard in my entire life. So if we go into this without fully analytic mode, it's literally like saying take a baby, put it in the NBA, and just one day he'll shoot a basket. No, brother, that baby's gonna get stomped. It doesn't work like that. You can never cater to the 1%ers because the 1%ers already know what they're doing. If you cater to the 1%, you're gonna get the 1%. And if you want live proof, watch every single PvP based MMO that came into fruition. All dead, save for like Albion and Eve, which again has some PvE, all of that stuff, and actually has a pretty decent framework to make this actually functioning. That being said, full loot PvP based MMO would never work. Never.
Different these days, right? Like,
And that is the
knowledge
best
is
proof I can
easily
give.
spreadable, and the players that like classic WoW, like classic WoW is not a hard game at its core, right? And
It's too loud?
like there's a few buttons, right? So at this point, with knowledge being like spreadable the way it is, everyone can kind of do everything. It's not that the content's easy and you're gatekeeping. It's not that. It's that the game is one button for the most part, and people can press one button, and that means people can clear everything. So for example,
Yes.
back in the day, it wasn't necessarily that Nax was incredibly hard. It was that players weren't very good compared to how hard Nax was.
True. He's actually right about that. I think it was like only 1% at clear Nax back in the day. Nowadays it ramped way up because knowledge is far and wide, and it's like it's so readily available. People just generally became better at video games. There's so many factors to just consider into it. He's absolutely right about that. That is actually very true.
And now players are much better, so like an average player could maybe clear all the way through, for example. Or I mean, Nax still by today's standards is somewhat tricky, but for example, in Classic Plus, if you release Nax, most people...
Oh shit, whoa, Ferrari and Slip? Classic Plus? Man, he went to them Blizzard headquarters. We know what he saw there. We know. I bet it was a few jugs of milk too, but nah, that was Classic
be
Plus.
able to clear it if they really want, which means the 1% rule goes straight out the door. That's not then crafting content for the 1% anymore. Crafting content for the 1% would then be what retail's done with like a mythic raid.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's good for Classic Plus. And the
Based.
reason I don't think that's good for Classic Plus is because Classic gamers enjoy Classic because it's easy. That's one of the things they enjoy about it, is that they can clear the raid casually with a group of friends without needing to sweat and try hard and learn a bunch of crazy new things. They can just have a good time.
It's not really easy, it's not degenerate difficult. So what do I mean by that? I mean in retail WoW, I said a forbidden words, you need like 1,700 different add-ons, you have 700 pop-ups, your entire screen is barely seen by you, you have like this tiny circle over here in the middle where you can see anything, and the rest is like pop-ups and sounds, and it's sensory overload, it doesn't make any sense, and it's tiresome. That's why people hate raiding in retail, and that's why they refuse to get better. There's a really easy thing to understand that I think the gaming industry has known for decades now. Easy to learn, hard to master. It's a very difficult balance to strike, I grant you that, but if you manage to do so, your game is guaranteed to have a certain amount of success. Because if you make a game easy to learn, then people can easily get in, get invested, and actually bother to learn the intricate parts of it, which make them master it. But WoW already assumes, retail WoW, sorry, already assumes that you've been a player for 20 years, and they're like, oh, you know what, it's okay, we can just throw everything at you. Like talent, you got them. Abilities, in milliseconds. Nobody cares. And new players get easily overwhelmed, older players already know that stuff, and that's why we have the situation that we're currently at. which no new blood is coming into the game, and you're playing with the same old sweats over and over again. Toxicity's running rampant, nothing you can do about it. This is the community that Blizzard itself had cultivated.
And relax and chill. That's why TBC is, you know, the rating numbers on TBC are doing well, or like in Classic WoW, they usually do okay for a while. It's like people want the easy content. So I agree with you in general when it comes to game design and philosophy, but I disagree with you for WoW specifically, or Classic WoW specifically. No game survives by...
No, even if for other games, I wouldn't agree with that. That is like the dumbest take ever. I literally don't apply it anywhere unless you want your game to insta-die on release. Wait, let's say I missed some comment. So frustrating loving a game and seeing it get butchered for decades. You still want to come back, but the very developers seem to be in internal war with you. Speechless, how can they be so out of touch? They're not out of touch. You're just not the target audience anymore. It's the Rainbow Mafia. It's not us. We're balding. We're cooked. That is. Would you want the current Classic content in Classic Plus, or would you want new started Classic content in Classic Plus? I want Turtle WoW inside of Classic Plus. I want the old Classic stuff upgraded and elevated on every single front, if that makes sense. Not really. Only the later bosses are hard, not gonna lie. Kind of. Probably with Classic and every expansion is the end game. Oh, problem with the Classic is the end game. Yeah, I know, obviously. I'm not saying that Classic is like the go-to golden standard. I'm saying maybe in terms of leveling, sure, but end game, obviously, abolish that, make it way more difficult, but also make it exciting and make it fair.
Catering to 1% of its player base. I'm trying to think if that's true. I was thinking about this a lot the other month. It's like, should you cater to the top 1% or not? Or should you try to balance out catering to the majority and then also the top 1%? And I was thinking about it for like basketball. This might be a terrible...
Dude, what the fuck? On the life of me, I didn't pre-watch this. On the life of me, I only watched the first minute. God damn, dude, that's crazy. I swear, pre-watch? No, dude. Oh my god.
Analogy, because I mean, I'm not like a sports guy, so let me
know. Is he gonna say the same thing?
A terrible analogy. It might be. In basketball, if you catered to the, not top 1%, so you don't look at the NFL or the NBA. See, I call it the wrong thing.
God.
If you don't look at the NBA, you're looking at like the average person of an average height of like 5'9" or 5.
Okay, he's not using the baby example. It's fine. It's fine. You see, I told you I didn't pre-watch this.
10 or something.
I mean, what are the odds?
I guess it depends what country you're looking at. You would like move the hoops down so that more people could like dunk and play the game properly, because the hoops are too high for like most people to dunk. So if you're gonna not balance basketball around the 1%, like the people that are tall, you would balance it to where more people could actually play the game and dunk and stuff like that. So you would lower the hoops. Is that like a good thing for the sport of the game? I think most people would agree.
But it's different. Like, games are not like sports game, man. Like, sports game are inherently competitive. You don't need to turn every game in existence competitive. If you want to make a game competitive, then sure, go for it, right? But that shouldn't be the case for MMOs. Like, MMOs are fun. They were never meant to be an esport. Like, you're just comparing tomatoes and potatoes. It doesn't make any sense.
It's probably not, right? So it's like, okay, in the case of this, like professional sports, like maybe balancing it for the top 1% actually kind of owns. But sports are different than gaming. I don't know. I was thinking about this the other month. Original Overwatch esports died due to terrible balancing and management. I don't know too much about the history of Overwatch in that sense. It is really interesting though. Like if you, I think the best for video games is probably something along the lines of you balance it for both. You look at the top 1% to give something for other players to aspire to, and you make it a fun and balanced experience for players to watch. But at the same time, you need to balance. Yeah, you have to look at like each bracket individually and kind of go from there as well. Like, so WoW is not an esport either, really. Like, or classic WoW is not an esport. So,
there we go.
It's a completely different conversation when we're talking about classic WoW and when we're talking about like League of Legends or something.
Yeah.
The analogy doesn't work because sports get the best players to be watched. It makes money from being viewed, not money from being played. That's different to a game that makes
also
money
that,
from players.
Yeah.
So
true. Actually true.
Needs to be for the majority. David, would you agree though that if more players are watching something, it probably means more players are going to want to then play something? Like,
Yeah, but you have to look at conversion ratio. Like, I don't think that the conversion ratio is worth it. If it's like 1 million people watching per like 10 guys playing, it's not worth it. I think in video games it's completely different because the conversion ratio is usually, it's not 1-to-1, but it's way, way closer to like, let's say maybe 1-to-5, right? So like one streamer play and he manages to convert like what 5 people into playing. And I think I can give you even better example. We can talk about Asmongold and FF14 because this is something that I was personally struck with. I came into FF14 because of Asmongold Bald, because he just initiated the entire FF14 golden era whenever he quit World of Warcraft and went to play that game. And I came let's sorry, wait, pause. No, okay, I went after his footsteps and I tried a game for myself. Best 6 months of my entire life, and it was so good. So the conversion ratio is like completely different, if that make any sense, right? I think more people will be incentivized watching a gamer play a game and play that themselves rather than to watch a sports game and then play it themselves, because it's like on a completely different realm. What if Classic Plus has a box price? I'm gonna make so many videos. It's gonna be good.
for example, if no one's watching baseball, the next generation of baseball players might not want to grow up and be baseball players. If no one's watching League of Legends, there might be less people that want to play League of Legends. So I think these things are like closely tied. Like if you have more people that are watching something, you have more hype and excitement for the sport to want to play that thing. Like that's the whole like conversation, right? No, I don't watch football and think I want to go play that. But it, like generationally, if you're watching football, your kids might think I want to play that one day. Like there's a strong connection, right? If you're watching football growing up and other, you know, and your kids or your kids' friends are seeing that like, oh, this is something that is revered and respected versus not revered or respected, it completely changes the culture around that thing. For example, like video games in Korea are like massive because it's like really respected to be a master of your craft, but maybe in NA not so much, and you see like the cultural differences there. So like I would argue that we're really talking about the same thing. W take, yeah.
Not really. It's a very fringe take. He takes one example and it's like it's not true. It stands on false water.
I mean they're at least very closely tied. League makes money from cosmetics, NBA makes money from merch. The way you make money from merch. Is that the only
thing? Not from ads? Maybe I'm wrong about that. Like, obviously merch, but I think also ads, right? That's gotta be it.
Just by having more people watching. If you have no one watching, then you have no one to sell merch to. If you have more people watching the NBA, then you'll have more people to sell merch to. So, like, still, I think we're having, like, the same conversation. Adam says the NBA doesn't make money from merch, they make money from TV rights. Yeah. I don't know how the NBA makes money, but yeah, that sounds about right. More people watching, sell ad slots like sponsors. Everything stands and falls with the viewership. That's kind of how I view it, right? Like if no one wants to watch something, temporarily it might get by, but in the long term it'll eventually just die.
I mean, Guild Wars 2 is still alive and nobody watches that shit. So I don't know how much of this is true. Some people just rather play a game than watch it. I've seen it myself. I was very surprised by it too because like I'm a WoW degen, right? I only came to Guild Wars 2 to kind of wait until Classic Plus will arrive, and like I'm impressed. I'm not gonna lie. Like Guild Wars 2 has a serious dedicated community, and like you can clearly tell they want to play the game. They don't want to watch. If you search for every Guild Wars 2 video whatsoever, you won't find anything of it because people are literally not making content for it, which is crazy because the community is pretty big. The game has survived for over a decade. So in video games, it's not the case.
Like if 0 people are watching baseball a few generations from now, like it'll be a lost sport.
And now you're a Guild Wars 2 addict? No.
Or whatever, like there has to be some type of interest.
Just to kind of summarize, it was a great video. Gonna leave a link in the description. You guys should watch it for yourself. I'm not really sure I'm following Zaryu. It seems like he's trying to kind of play both sides, if that makes sense. I think, generally speaking, I do agree with what he said. Like, Classic Plus should never be competitive. It should always be on the same level it is now. Maybe a little bit difficult. Like, rating should be a little bit more challenging, 100%. I think, like, above next level, and that's pretty much it. You know, you don't need all the add-ons, all of that stuff, all of that garbage. Just make it fun, right? Make it fun and challenging, which is very difficult, I do understand, but I think generally speaking, he's right. He had some pointers that I completely disagree with. But his chatters, man, holy. His chatters are just completely delusional. Like, I don't know what happened there. It's some of them. Some of his chatters were actually, like, pretty based and knew what they were talking about. But the first guy, man, that man was off his rocker.